The European Union was attacked after failing to put in place an effective external border policy despite decades of political wrangling as the looming Afghanistan migrant crisis is set to put it to the test. Former Rear Admiral and Managing Director of Merle House Consultants Dr. Chris Parry spoke to Express.co.uk about how European powers should address the incoming Afghanistan refugee crisis after the Taliban takeover of the Middle Eastern country. Dr. Parry suggested the EU's failure to install an effective external border policy will mean many refugees could enter the continent unchecked, as EU members have already begun to establish their own unilateral border policies to resettle Afghan migrants. Dr. Parry added many cultures across Europe would need to compromise, as the assimilation between pre-modern and post-modern societies has always been a rocky one. Dr. Parry spoke to Express.co.uk and was asked whether France and the UK should already be having discussions about a looming migrant crisis. He explained, "I'm not sure it's the UK and France that need to have the talks about increasing migration from Afghanistan. I think the whole of the European Union and Europe itself does. The problem is that it's taken the European Union nearly 28 years to agree on an external borders policy and nothing's happened. It may well be that Afghanistan is the spur to make this last happen. I don't think it's an issue for any one or even two countries to have to deal with, frankly." EU Home Affairs Commissioner Ylva Johansson said Afghans arriving at Europe's external border will not be deported back to Afghanistan as it is too dangerous for them. However, during a conference with internal ministers, Ms. Johansson said the EU should look into ways of resettling refugees nearer to the region they are fleeing from to prevent a huge surge entering the bloc. EU leaders fear a return to the 2015 Syrian refugee crisis, which saw over 1 million displaced people enter Europe. Ms. Johansson told ministers, "We should not wait until people stand at our external border, we need to help them before that. It's also important that we help those under immediate threat to be resettled to EU member states." Dr. Parry gave his analysis of the situation and added, "Quite a few countries are already taking their own measures. We're taking a lot of people to whom we owe a debt, to whom we have a duty to take in with their families. That's only right and proper. But there are two factors at play here. One is it's a continent-wide issue, and secondly, we've got to actually think how we're going to assimilate these people and how they're going to survive, both economically and socially, in frankly what is quite an alien environment. We've seen the problems of absorption from pre-modern societies before, and how we marry pre-modern habits and values with post-modern societies is something we're gonna have to really get to grips with over the next few years. We should be no doubt, we're in an age of global migrations now. And if the infrastructures and the values that we seek to preserve in our own countries are going to continue, we have to work out how we're going to absorb large numbers of people, often from, frankly, alien cultures, and how they're going to live alongside. I mean, the typical example used to be America, where everybody went to America for the American dream. They didn't go into America to be, for example, Afghans in America, they went into America to be Americans. We've lost some of that, and I think all these multiple identities and things like that are going to have to compromise in relation to the common good in many other countries where these people wish to settle. The UK government announced it would resettle around 20,000 Afghans in the UK over the course of several years. Home Secretary Priti Patel explained the bulk of the Afghans would be made up of women and children who are fleeing persecution from the Taliban. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab revealed the UK would also increase its foreign aid spending in Afghanistan by 10% despite the government cutting the aid budget earlier this year. Dr. Parry told Express.co.uk that due diligence should be carried out on foreign aid spending, otherwise he fears the support could end up in the wrong hands.